All right, so continuing this GIF animation transformation demo using my landscape and my creature from assignments 1 and 2 that I've already very thoughtfully combined as a proving ground, I'm going to make a less believable kind of merging of these elements for this animation. And I've played with the different motions that it will go through. And the character is going to be my rock slug, and then the transformation is going to be the environment getting all sucked into its mouth and then vomited out. So that's my sketch. I've posted it. I've saved it into my folder. And now what I need, I sometimes just will open it up in preview so I have it to reference anytime I need off in the corner. Now I need assets. So I'm going to create a folder within my assignment 3 folder called animation assets. Now, animation assets are all the things, think of them like paper dolls that I can kind of cut out. And remember, in our first video, we looked at Terry Gilliam. I think I still have it up. Yeah. So we looked at these old Monty Python animations, which are just done with cutouts from magazines. And every once in a while, some of his own drawing, like he drew this baby basket and this room and the window, right? But really, what do you need to create this? Well, you need that room. That's the setting. You need the baby basket. None of that ever changes. That's like just a set established setting. And then you need all your animated assets, which are all the tables, the chairs, all the people, the frames on the wall. All of those have to be separate cutouts, right? Because they have to move and change. So each of those is a separate asset. So to do that, what's nice about using assignment 1 and assignment 2 is I already have a lot of those assets. So if I open it up, I can open up first my creature, assignment 2, and I have my clean PNG of my creature. That maybe got improved a little bit with the proving ground. I'm going to hold down Option and move that into my animation assets. When you hold down Option and move something, it makes a duplicate of it. So here's my creature. Next, I'm going to go to assignment 1. This is for my animation. And I want to use the PSD of the landscape. But if I feel like I improved it in the proving ground, which I think I did a lot with the lighting, I'm going to use the full PSD proving ground. Hold down Option, move that into my assets. And that's so I don't accidentally overwrite these files. And I might change their name. Now this one already has the creature in it, but I just have the creature as an extra asset in case I need it. And I'm going to call this assignment 3 assets. But here's the thing. My proving ground is a rectangle, and I want my animation to be a square. My proving ground is at full print resolution. Larger than 8 by 10 at 350 pixels per inch. I want my frame to be 8 by 8 inches by 100 pixels per inch. So the first thing I can do is I can go to image size, and I can change my height to 8 inches. And I can change my resolution to 100 pixels per inch. This is why it was so important to move it and change the name. Because I just made this screen resolution, not print resolution. Next, I can look at my different layers. And for animation, I need a little bit more space for layers. So I might actually move a lot of this stuff over. So I can just see more layers, right? And I'll stretch this out. And now I don't need this up anymore. which informed my sketch because I have my sketch. I can shrink that and kind of tuck it into the corner. It just kind of is a reminder to me of what I'm going for. All right, now I need to make it 8 by 8 inches. I have to make it square. So I'm going to use my move tool and my rulers. And if your rulers aren't there, hit Command R. It will turn them on and off. You'll find that setting under View for rulers. And then I can use them to kind of figure out, okay, where do I want to crop this square? It would make sense to maybe do it there. And then maybe right there. So there's a few ways to do this. What I'm going to do is actually use a rectangular marquee tool. Start at one corner, hold down Shift so it's a perfect square, drag it to the other side, right? And then I'm going to make a new layer on top of everything. And I'm going to say, select inverse. So it's the space outside of that square. And I'm going to say, edit fill. And I'll just use white at 100%. So this is a mask. This could be used a few different ways. This could be used to create panning shots. If I wanted to be fancier about it, right? And it can just basically be used without having to crop information out to know what area I'm going to take assets from. So your final animation needs to be a square that's 8 inches by 8 inches by 100 pixels per inch. Your assets just need to support that. So I'm just going to leave it cropped like that. I'm going to go ahead and lock that so that I don't accidentally move it. And now what that means is that whenever I grab a frame for my animation and move them onto a new file, which is going to be called the stage file, I'm going to grab it from within this square. So I'm going to move my guides to match that square. And if I unlock it, it should stick to those sides. There we go. Okay, now I need to simplify my assets. Yeah, let me lock it again. So to simplify my assets, this can get pretty complicated because remember, this is my proving ground and I had overlay layers. I had clone stamping that was in there. I've got just so many different layers of atmosphere and I just want to simplify it. Just like the Terry Gilliam, I want that clean background. The thing that will never change. The thing that when my creature is just left in an empty environment, what is that empty environment? So what do I start to do? I'm going to start turning things off. And then building them back. Merging things when I need to merge things. Like merging the overlay layers. And then seeing what I have. And sometimes I have to modify what I have to fill the square. So I've got the mountains. The mountains are already in a group, which is helpful, but take those out. Maybe move them out of the group for the time being, because I'll make new groups to help organize my assets. I can label things if it's helpful. I don't need this. This is my sketch for my original landscape. I don't really need the gray background. Though, I mean, it's not bad. Maybe I use that. So the first thing, let's see what's still on. Oh yeah, the sky had that in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch my sky to be bigger. I'm going to transform it. Yes, by enlarging it, I am losing a little bit of quality, but this is not only going to be 100 pixels at 8 by 8 inches, this is also going to be a GIF, a graphic interchange format file, which only supports 256 colored pixels, right? In total. And so all of these nuanced pinks are going to be reduced to like 2 pinks per frame. So I don't need to worry too much about resolution for GIF animations. Do I want that? I'm not sure. Do I want the mountains? I'm not sure. I'm trying to think, is there some kind of default ground I want to have? And maybe I even need to build it in. And you are able, unlike our other compositing projects, you are able to create your own pixels here. So I'm going to just review a little bit. I'm going to use, just to show you, a vector shape tool. I'm going to use a rectangle tool. And I'm going to create a really basic horizon. And then I'm going to fill it. This is under properties. With a color. You know, I can pick any color I want. I can steal it. But then I want to add a gradation to it. So I can actually say not just a flat color, but a gradient. And I'm going to do, let's see, in the oranges. Let's do just a simple gradient like this. Okay. Now, because it's a gradient, I can set the angle to be whatever I want. I can write it in. I can set it to be linear. I can play with the scale. This is all on the vector shape. And I can even add extra colors to it. Throw a nice salmony pink in there. Let's change the angle a little bit. And then let's try reversing it. Yeah, so that works. Oh, and then I got to turn the stroke off. Remember, vector shapes can also have an outline. And I don't think I want that outline. So I turn that off. Except I did that on one I just newly created. So let's get back to layers. Delete that one. Change the properties of this one to have no stroke. All right. And then I can even take my layers and put it all on its own. And I can make that bigger if I want to. So, now I've got a setting. Do I want to leave it as a vector? Not necessarily. So I might as well just rasterize it now. Is there ever a time, because the vector tools can be annoying, is there ever a time that I'm going to want to remove that ground? I can't think of one. Not in my plan. So this is where we start simplifying more and we bring it all together. So maybe I want to make it a little bit cooler before I do that, and I want to reflect. This is me having ideas and getting ambitious, but that's the fun part of art. So I'm going to duplicate the sky. I'm going to transform it. I'm going to flip it vertically. I'm going to move it down and on top at the horizon line. Like that. And then, like seems to be in any video game now, I have like this space of reflected emptiness. And then if I want to, I can take this rasterized rectangle and I can go to filter, and I'm just trying to get the best background I can. I'm going to Gaussian blur it a little bit so that that soft edge or that hard edge at the back becomes a little bit softer. A little less distinct.